Welcome to Bookmas Day 7, Vlogmas Day 7. I've managed to put a video up every day so far. I will see if I'm able to continue putting up videos every day. I'm just doing my best over here. This is a new channel. It's time we don we now our gay apparel and make the Yuletide gay. Unfortunately, 2 of the romance novels in this video are not queer romances, but one of them is. If you're here for the first time, thank you so much for being here. We're still going strong. Hopefully we can continue. Today I'm going to be listening to the book Second Chance Christmas by Jahquel J. and getting some stuff done while I'm listening to that book. This is a holiday romance by a Black author. The book is available on Kindle Unlimited, and I also got the audiobook through Libby. I just want to say thank you for being here and thank you for checking out my channel. I hope that you'll like and subscribe. So earlier in this video, I was reading the book Second Chance Christmas. I did finish that book. I stopped recording and didn't really provide any updates or reactions because honestly, I wasn't enjoying it that much. The writing, it got really repetitive after a while, and some of the dialogue just seemed really corny, and some of the word choices for it wasn't a super spicy book, but there were some spicy scenes, and some of the word choices really had me scratching my head. Like at one point, the male main character says something like, "I'm gonna reach into her shorts and touch her cat." Like, not even using, a euphemism for cat to refer to it, like literally a cat, called it a cat. And just things like that, like the spicy scenes were odd. I did not enjoy them. So like I said, I didn't really film any updates about that book. I don't necessarily recommend it. And so we're going to be moving on. My library hold for Lovelight Farms came through, so I'm going to switch over to Lovelight Farms. I've read one book by B.K. Borrison before that I really enjoyed. It was First Time Caller. So I'm really excited to check out another book by B.K. Borrison to see if I like it. Before I move on to another book, I can tell you at least a little bit about what Second Chance Christmas was about. And that way, if it sounds like it will appeal to you, you can still check it out. This was about Faith and Rome, who were high school boyfriend and girlfriend. The book starts off with a prologue that's several years in the past, and it is their prom night. It's supposed to be this wonderful, magical night, and unfortunately a very tragic event happens that causes a rift between them. Rome is very upset, very angry, and takes it out on Faith, and they become estranged. So several years in the future, she is now divorced and has twin girls who are 8 years old, and she has to go back to her Florida hometown because her father has had a medical emergency. Now, Rome never left their Florida hometown, so he's still there, and they end up running into each other. This very tragic event, I guess I can say it because it happens literally in the prologue. Faith's mother drives drunk and gets in a car accident and kills Rome's younger brother. So there's a lot of emotional baggage. I would kind of assume that they would need to have a lot of conversations to kind of work through that. Like, he was so angry at Faith and blamed her for leaving the keys lying around because her mom was often drunk and would often make bad decisions. And so by leaving the keys, he was kind of like, you were inviting her to drive, putting a lot of blame and very hurtful emotions onto her when really it wasn't her fault. That to me would require a lot of time and energy and focus to work through. But it was almost like glossed over. Like they ran into each other and Rome was immediately like obsessed with her. He was saying he was going to be her husband on their first date. And then the first time he met her kids, he mentioned to them that he was going to be her future husband or their future father-in-law. And like he latched on real fast. There were no conversations. For some reason, Faith was okay with that. I would not have been okay with that, but that's just me. But anyway, so, you know, they get back together very fast. So even though it is a second chance, to me, it felt like insta love because we didn't get to see them work for it, really. It was just immediate, you know, even just upon seeing her. I don't even know if he confirmed that she was single before he started like going after her. So yeah, it was a little much for me, but I could see people really liking that book. If you're just looking for something cutesy, cheesy, like Hallmark type style, I would say check that book out. Okay, so now I want to give you an update because I have started Lovelight Farms. So this is about, I can't even remember anyone's names. Luca, I remember Luca. Currently reading 2 books where one of the main male characters' name is Luca. I ain't mad about it. Okay, let me find out this bitch's name. So this is about Stella, who owns a Christmas tree farm but is struggling to financially maintain the farm and the business. So she fills out this application. Influencer might come and showcase the small business, and so she applies because she wants this influencer to come visit her farm and kind of get the word out about her farm so that she can start making some money and keep the farm afloat. In the application, she explains that she owns and operates this Christmas tree farm with her boyfriend. Well, she doesn't have a boyfriend. So she lied on the application and she ends up getting selected, and she's worried that if the influencer comes out, she might find out that she lied and maybe have some consequences. But also she has looked through this influencer's content and realizes that she loves a good story that she can tell. And so she thinks if she's in love with or dating the co-owner and co-operator of this farm, that it would be a better story for this content creator. So she asks her best friend, Luca, if he will fake date her when this influencer makes her appearance on the farm. We find out pretty early on that Stella does have feelings for Luca. She does really like Luca. She has for a long time. She's actually really nervous to ask him if he will fake date her because she does actually have feelings for him, and she's afraid of anything changing. Like, they have such a good friendship. They've been friends for so long. They have a good relationship, a good dynamic. She's afraid that doing anything different will change their relationship, and she does not want to lose that. So she's really scared to ask him, but she finally does, and he immediately says yes. And now they're kind of testing the waters a little bit, like spending time together around townspeople. They're in a very small town. The gossip mill is strong in this area, flirting and touching like a dating couple would in public, and people in town are noticing. She also takes him to her family's Thanksgiving and things like that. And now they're saying that they should practice touching each other a little bit more, or maybe even kissing, because if the influencer is around, they don't want it to seem like it's new or shocking or surprising or uncomfortable. So that's where I left off. I'm about a third into the book. This is very cute. It's not feeling very deep to me. I actually think it's interesting that she has already admitted that she's in love with him and how much she likes him. I feel like with a lot of these types of storylines where it's a like childhood friend to lover or even fake dating, like, they don't immediately know that they have feelings for the other person, and so it's a bit of a discovery figuring that out. That is not the case here, but I'll be curious to see where it goes. Like when they said they needed to practice kissing, and the way that scene was written was really cute, and it did, you know, I was into it. I was feeling the tension and a little bit of the butterflies. So it is really cute. I am going to definitely continue. I also have a Heated Rivalry update for you. So the third episode just came out, and we had people over to do a bit of a watch party, so that was really fun. Some of the people hadn't seen any of the episodes, so we started at episode 1, and then we actually all got to see episode 3. Like, no one had seen that one before. And episode 3 surprised me, but it was so cute. It was Scott Hunter and Kip's story. So they are the main characters from the first book in the series, Game Changers. If you watched my reading vlog on Heated Rivalry or my November wrap-up, you'll know that I did read the book Game Changers and I didn't love it, but I think they did such a good job adapting those characters and their story to the episode, because they seemed, well, first of all, they cut out a lot of their spice. Everything that happened in a 45 or so minute episode was basically, if you had cut most of the spice from the book, like that would have been everything that happened in the book, except for some things at the end, because they did cut it at a little bit of a cliffhanger. But they made Scott and Kip so communicative. One of my qualms with the book was that they didn't really have very many meaningful conversations. They weren't very honest with themselves or with each other. Like, they were uncomfortable talking to each other about hard things. And in the show, they seemed so grown and mature and were having those kinds of conversations. And so it really made me fall in love with Scott Hunter and Kip more than when I read the book. If you've read the book, you know that there's a big moment towards the end, and then that moment is sort of a crossover with Ilya and Shane's story. And I thought we were going to get that in this episode, but we didn't. They're gonna make us wait for it. So I'm so excited for next week's episode. I think it's gonna be big. And we are gonna continue to host watch parties here every Friday while the new episodes are coming out. That's just so much fun. I love being able to share my excitement with other people and to kind of get other people's reactions. I mean, some people in the room were not very into Ilya and Shane. They were kind of like, I don't get it. I don't understand the chemistry. I don't see it. But then with Scott and Kip, they immediately got their chemistry. So it's just interesting the way, having read the book or not before watching the show, it seems, can make a big impact on which characters you like immediately buy as a couple and things like that. So it was really fun to hear everyone's reactions. For the most part, people seem sort of annoyed or disappointed maybe in Shane's character, that he's just so boring and he's not really saying or doing anything. Ilya, while he definitely has his issues, is at least clearly expressing his interest in Shane and doing things that are, you know, more fun or exciting. Whereas Shane, he's so reserved and he's so afraid to break his perfectionist mold. It kind of does create then a more boring character who isn't really doing or saying much. And some people really disliked that. I love them all. I'm so happy. When I saw Scott Hunter on the opening screen and then going into the smoothie shop, I did get a little giddy. I maybe squealed. People didn't really understand why, because I think I'm the only one who's read the books in the group. I tried to keep quiet. I don't want to ruin this experience for anyone else. I want them to experience it for the first time, just like I did, even though it's through TV instead of books. So that was really fun, and I'm so excited for next week's episode. So I was able to finish the book Lovelight Farms by B.K. Borrison, and overall I thought this was a very sweet, tender, gentle romance novel. I think I left off, I was about a third of the way through, and Stella and Luca had just agreed to fake date so that when the influencer came to their farm, they would think Luca was the boyfriend she was referring to on her application materials. The influencer did come to the property. There actually ended up being sort of a side plot about someone was stealing things from her property and messing with her plants and the health of her trees and things like that. So there was a little bit of a whodunit or a mystery. That was a very small part of the plot, but still that came up in the last 2/3 of this book. Like I said, the romance was very gentle and sweet. They were being very careful because they had been such good friends for so long. They were both kind of afraid of taking that next step, and so everything was very slow. I do think it was very effective in building the tension. There was a third act breakup that honestly was infuriating to me. You know, one person was admitting their feelings and the other person was basically saying, no, you don't. It's like, what's happening here? But thankfully it was resolved pretty nicely. So I did enjoy that book. I wouldn't necessarily say it was like the best book ever or one of my favorites, but it was very sweet. So then I ended up reading third book that I'm going to talk about in this update is American Christmas by Adriana Herrera. Now this is a novella, and I interpreted that it was a standalone novella. Like when I looked it up on Fable and things like that, I didn't necessarily see that it was part of a series. I now realize that this is a novella that goes in between 2 books in a series. And so there was a lot of backstory and other characters that I didn't know. And so I just had to kind of take this at face value. But this book has Yin and Ari. They are living together for the first time and they're so excited about having their first Christmas living together, and they both want to make it the perfect Christmas. Now, Yin and Ari are both immigrants, and so there is a lot of talk about how grateful they are to be in America. The series is called the Dreamers series. So I'm assuming a lot of the storylines in the other books in the series also involve immigrants. Their love was so sweet though. They loved each other so deeply that they really just wanted to make this Christmas perfect. It seemed like they had a good found family situation going on, but I didn't really have all of that context. So I thought this was cute, and you know what? It was really short. Like I said, it was a novella, so it was definitely worth checking out. It was very sweet, and their love was so pure. I really did enjoy their story, despite not having the backstory. So that is gonna wrap things up for this reading vlog where I read some holiday romances. So we went through Second Chance Christmas by Jahquel J. We read Lovelight Farms by BK Borrison, and a novella, American Christmas by Adriana Herrera. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to my channel for more videos in the future. Thank you so much to the 11 people who have subscribed to my channel so far. Thank you for supporting me on this journey and, you know, figuring out if this is something that I can maintain. I'm having a lot of fun doing it so far. So thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.